If you're practicing your academic skepticism, once you've identified an article you'd like to use for your research project, you might want to see if you can find a little more information about the author of the article and what qualifies them either as a researcher or as a journalist to write on your topic. Here are a few ways Academic Search Premier will help you out with that. Academic journals usually make this easy. I'll take a look at this one, The Rise of the Teleworker, and open the PDF. Often, you'll see the author's institutions or degrees given right up here with their names. This one doesn't. So we'll look at the bottom of the first page, and it tells us that all of these authors were at Athabasca University in Edmonton, Canada, when this paper was written. And we can usually assume that that means that they're faculty members at that university, although sometimes one of the authors may be a graduate student. If you don't find any information on the first page of the article, try the end of the article. Sometimes it's there instead. Now that may be enough information for us, but if we want to know more, we can now take that information to Google or another web search engine. Searching for Athabasca and Kanaka pops up the lead author's faculty page right at the top of the list. And here we get information on her degrees, her research interests, and her publications. She does a lot of work in distance education, so that is probably her connection to the research she's done on telecommuting. Now that may not always work so easily because faculty do move around. They may no longer be at the institution named in the article. So you can also try just the person's name with the word faculty, or perhaps the word university. In this case, that takes us to a couple of other pages that show us that she's the academic director of the Center for Teaching and Learning at the University of Alberta. She seems to be active at both institutions. Returning to Academic Search Premier, take a look at the detailed record view for the article. Notice the number given here for each of the authors. If we scroll down below the abstract, you'll see that the database often gives the author's affiliation information right there in the record. Also notice that each author's name is a link. You can click on it to see what other articles this person has written that are included in this database. Again, we can see that she does a lot of publishing on distance education. I'll use the search history to return to my previous results. And notice that this link toggles your history on and off, so I can click it again to hide it. Now with magazine articles, like this one, There's No Place Like Home, we don't get any author affiliation information in the detailed record view. So try taking a look around the article itself. Sometimes there's a little blurb about the author. There's nothing on the first page on this one, but on the last page it does tell us that Christopher Musico is an editorial assistant at the publication, which is called CRM. And if we go back to the detailed record view and click on his name to see what else he's written that's in this database, we see that indeed most of his articles are coming from that same publication. So he was presumably a staff writer there at the time. If we saw lots of different publications in that list, the author would presumably be a freelance journalist. And again, of course, if we want more, a good strategy would be to find the website of the publication and search it for the author. If we click the author's name, this one has given us a little bit of biographical information about that author, and we can see that he has formal training in journalism and a good bit of experience writing on business topics. But perhaps the most important thing to watch for with magazine articles is just to make sure the author is doing his job as far as letting us know where he's getting the information he uses to back up his points. In magazines, you won't find the long list of references cited that you usually see at the end of a journal article, but the reporter should certainly be telling us about his sources right in the text. This author does a good job of that. For example, here he tells us the research firm that came up with a particular statistic, and here we have quotes from a relevant company's chief executive officer. So those are a few tips for using Academic Search Premier to help you check up on the authors of the articles you use for your college work. Have fun sleuthing, and if you need assistance, be sure to ask your librarian.